When you're fulfilling a leadership role, it's almost like baseball. In order to get a home run, you got to touch first base, second base, third base, and then come back to home plate. You can't just hit the ball and then run to third base and run back home and think it's going to count. You got to go to first base, second base, third base, and then home plate. And then you got a home run. The same is true with leadership. There are stages to release for ministry, just like when the Discovery shuttle goes up. There's certain stages, the stage booster rockets and stages, they fall off before it's actually in orbit. Well, there's stages that every master level leader will go through. Now, surface leadership, the first level leadership, the shallow leadership, second level leadership, they don't go through the stages. And this is where many people fail to make it to master level leadership because they don't understand the stages. And so the whole process is aborted and has to be started again, but you got to go to first base. I don't know if you remember 1980, a young woman named Rosie crossed the finish line in the 84th Boston Marathon. And the problem was she didn't seem to be out of breath or sweating or anything. Was she a superwoman? Was she a Wonder Woman? Well, she apparently had the power to be invisible too, because she disappeared from the cameras along the route. And come to find out, here's what they believe she did. She started the race with the others, and then when nobody was looking, she went and caught the subway. And a half a mile before the end of the race, she jumped back in and crossed the finish line. Well, of course, she lost her prize, and that's what happens when you don't run all the race. You lose the prize. King David was anointed as king of Israel, and it was 7 years before he got his first little sliver. The anointing is not the appointing. And this is the most frustrating thing to get through to people, because there are those who are anointed, called, gifted to do something, and they start doing it without going through the stages and waiting for the appointing of God. David was anointed but waited 7 years just for the first sliver of Israel. Conception is not the birth. The anointing is like the conception of your ministry or your leadership or your business, but it's not the birth. It's not the appointing. It is the anointing. Now, let me ask you this. All truth is parallel, and there are always believers that say, well, I'm anointed to do this. I don't need any schooling. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I don't need any mentoring. I don't need to be a disciple. I'm anointed. Just me and Jesus got our thing going. And they go out and start something. You know what they do? They bring reproach to the name of Christ eventually, because they didn't go to first base, second base, third base, home plate. How would you like to step on an airplane, look in the cockpit, and see a 15-year-old in the left seat with 4 bars on each shoulder, and you say, who are you? And he says, oh, I'm the pilot. And you say, you're the what? I'm the pilot. You're on a 757. And you're going somewhere, and you say, you're the pilot? Have you had any training? No, but I just feel called to do this. Are you going to get on that plane? Of course not. Or you go to the dentist and you don't see a certificate on the wall. And you ask him where he got his training, and I've never been trained in this. I'm just starting up this new practice because I feel called. And he pulls out a drill. Are you going to let him get in your mouth? Of course not. So stage 1 is the anointing, but the anointing is not the appointing.